Hi there, Ian and Bay from the future here.
I'm not eating pizza.
That's true. It just occurred to me that we never explained what Three Movies is.
Yes, I can if you would like. It's a podcast.
Yeah, all right. The idea behind Three Movies is that we marathon three movies, and after each of them, we record 20 minutes to a half hour on what we thought about those three movies. And in each episode, all three of the movies we watch are connected by some kind of theme. In this case, as the me from the past is about to explain, they are connected by the theme of them all being in the South. They all take place in the South.
So yeah.
Yeah, enjoy our Three Movies podcast, episode 1. Oh, no! Welcome to this here episode, Three Movies.
Oh, it's cowboy stuff, isn't it?
No, it's not cowboy stuff.
Oh, thank God.
It's it's almost cowboy stuff. It's close.
Okay.
Because these three here movies that we's gonna be watching, they all take place down south.
Okay, so one of them's Django Unchained.
Nope.
Damn. Okay. That's the only down south movie that I could think of.
They all take place down south, and they all have the name of the place they take place in the title of the movie.
So one of them's that dumb Billboard movie.
Yes, one of them.
I'm really upset because I told you I wouldn't watch that movie.
Well, it fit the theme.
Okay. I'm going to call for my mom.
Okay. Well, just go ahead and take that, I guess.
Hello?
Hello.
What's up?
I know what I forgot to ask you.
Go ahead.
Did you watch the Jonas Brothers' new video?
Yeah, why?
What did you think?
It's good.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Everybody I've asked loves this song. Like, Ronnie didn't see the video, but I just remember that you went and saw them in concert.
Yeah, it's my first concert.
So cute, baby.
Yes.
All right, okay, I won't keep you. You sound busy.
Oh, we're in the middle of recording a podcast for the next 8 hours.
Hey, do you mind if I don't edit you out of this podcast?
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, we're recording like right now, and it's picking you up.
Oh, my bad. No, go ahead, leave it in.
All right,
love
cool.
you, bye.
Okay, love you.
Okay, so one of them's the dumb... what's it called movie?
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, I hate that idea already. What are the other two?
All right, there's one I know. The two of them I know you haven't seen. One of them I think you might have, but I'm not sure.
Okay, wait. One that you think I might have seen that takes place in the South,
and the name of the place it takes place is in the title somewhere.
Well, the only South movie I could think of is Million Ways to Die in the West, which doesn't even technically have the name.
Nope.
So I don't think I've probably seen it.
Well, the one I'm not sure if you've seen or not is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
No, because I've heard that it's good.
It's good.
Cloverfield Paradox is bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cloverfield Paradox is pretty bad, but
Okay.
Cloverfield Lane is good. And the last movie, well, the first movie we're going to be watching, but the last movie I have yet to tell you about is Mississippi Grind.
Never heard of it.
Never heard. Yeah, I figured as much. You know, like, what's strange to me is, like, how that movie doesn't have... Well, I'll talk about it after we've seen it. But, yeah, what do you think of this selection?
I'm excited, I think.
Yeah?
I'm upset and excited.
Upset because of 10 Cloverfield and 3 Billboards?
No, 3 Billboards. 10 Cloverfield sounds fine.
Right, no, okay, you know what I meant, and you did it anyway. Alright, so the next time you hear us, we will have just finished Mississippi Grind.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Sweaty feet for kids. Now it's just not for old peoples. Now all the kids can have sweaty feet, and you can drink. Look at all that! Look at all that! Sweaty feet time. Bring out some sweaty feet for kids.
Right, what did you think of that?
Okay. So... Whew.
We just finished it. Like, we just hit pause on the credits and hit play on the recording.
Yeah. I want to start off by saying this is not even something about this movie, but something this movie is related to. Genres. Mm-hmm. When referencing movies, we always talk about genres, like, just people in general. And there is a large subset of movies that, to me, they obviously have a genre.
Right.
Duh. Every movie does, just by the definition of what it is. But they fit into, like, it's just a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I were to say, you'd be like, oh, it's just like a movie.
I think, the sort of the concept of genre, like, I don't really pay attention to it, like, when I'm making something.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of limiting.
But that's my issue, is, like, at first I was like, what kind of movies is when you're like, oh, it's like comedy elements, which it definitely does. And, like, it is drama. I wouldn't call it a drama. I wouldn't call it a comedy. I would just call it a movie.
Right.
And I wish there was a better term. Again, that's not like there's no ways that a slight on this movie.
I think it's closer to a drama than a comedy.
Agreed. But, like, there still isn't a term that I feel accurately would describe this movie that I know, at least. And that's not really about whether or not I like this movie. That's just a thought that I had throughout watching it. I kept thinking to myself, like, this is just a movie.
Right.
Like, not in a bad way, but it's just a movie,
Yeah.
Okay, so...
It's just one of 3 movies.
What... So you showed me this movie. I'm assuming you've seen it before?
I have.
And I'm assuming you like it.
I do.
Does it fall on your list?
It does.
Where does it fall? Did you want to explain your list?
It's I have a list. Every time I see a movie and I really like it, I put it on this list, and I order them from most liked to least liked. But I don't even put a movie on the list unless it's like 8 out of 10 or higher. In my book, anyway. So this movie is number 109 on that.
Okay, how many do you have on this list?
128.
Okay.
It's actually right next to 10 Cloverfield.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Was 10 Cloverfield one higher or one lower?
One lower.
Okay. So you like this movie more?
I like this movie slightly more than 10 Cloverfield Lane, yeah.
Interesting. I'm trying to think where I want to start. I have a hard time getting into a movie.
There was a point when I looked over and I could kind of tell you were into it, though.
Yeah, which is where I was getting at. Is that's the thing with all movies I seem to notice by myself. Even movies I'm anticipating. I remember when I saw World's End in theater, which is one of my top 5 favorite movies for sure, somewhere in there. And I remember the first 5 minutes, I was like, okay. Like a movie that I had been anticipating for months. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm watching a movie. Because that's how I am. But what grabbed me, I'm interested, do you know what the thing was that grabbed me?
Well, the part, I think it probably was before this, but the part when I was watching and I could tell, and I looked over and I could tell you were into it, was when they were in the one bar betting on the pool.
Okay.
And the dude's saying, like, and they go up to 1,000 and your eyebrows just kind of raise.
Yeah.
And, like, I
was definitely into it before that.
Yeah.
It actually was their chemistry.
It was very good.
I've always thought Ryan Reynolds was good, even before people generally. I'm a Ryan Reynolds hipster, as I would say. I really fucking like the Proposal. The Proposal is a great movie. Him and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
But for real, I've always thought he's a pretty decent actor, and I think he's only gotten better. And I was not surprised that he was good. There's another guy. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Is he from something? Donald Sutherland.
Do I know him from anything? Do you think?
Maybe I'll look up his IMDb.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, but their chemistry immediately grabbed me. They immediately had this pull to each other that I just couldn't shake. That stuck around, I would say, pretty consistently throughout the movie. There was a lull for me near the, I would say near the end of the middle section, if that makes sense. Like the 3/4 mark, right before their big spat, I would say. There was a small period where it was a little bit of a lull. But I think that a lot of movies have that. It's difficult to make a piece of media that is 2 to 3 hours long on average, that is going to grab someone's attention for every second of it. I just think it's not realistic. Even Mother, which I would say is possibly my favorite movie, or even The Lobster, which is definitely at least tied for my favorite movie, I would say. It definitely has points in it the first time I watched it, and even still now, where I still kind of zone out a tad bit, because I think it's just unrealistic to assume a movie is going to grab you personally. At least this is how I feel. It's going to grab me for the full, 120-minute plus runtime. It's a bit ridiculous to assume that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've been grabbed for the full length of a movie before.
But I think that you're a rare case.
Yeah.
I would say, because you're not just like a guy who watches movies. You're a guy who watches movies, you know? Whereas, like, I would never call myself a movie buff. Like, I'm going into school to be a film major, hopefully, but I'm in no way a movie buff or, like, a film snob.
I don't think I knew that.
What? You're going to school for film?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something I've decided recently. So
that's cool.
This makes sense, yeah. But their chemistry, really good. There was...
it's not... I don't know who Donald Sutherland is, but Ben Mendelsohn is his name.
He looked kind of familiar.
He was in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, that would make sense that I knew him from that, because I saw that the day it
He's
came
in
out.
Rogue One.
Oh my god, yes, he's in Rogue One. That's what I'm actually thinking of him from. I know him from a few things.
He's the baddie in Ready Player One.
Oh, great. I didn't see that, but I heard it was a really good movie.
He's going to be in Captain Marvel.
Oh, shit, that movie's getting bad press.
Mm.
I'm sure you've heard about that.
Yeah, but...
Not the topic, I guess.
Right.
But there was, in all movies that have this sense of being something I consider great, which I would consider this movie, maybe not in my top 50, maybe. I haven't done the math, like I was trying to at one point, but I couldn't.
Right.
But I at least could like see this movie and know that this is a great movie. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple small things that stood out to me that really like cemented that, and one thing that when it happened, like internally I was like, that's filmmaking. That right there. So I'm going to get to the small parts first. Mm-hmm. So the smaller parts are like the very end, when it's the 199, the man who goes from slumped to high shoulders.
Yeah.
Maybe feeling what it says. And he does it like as it's saying it. But it doesn't look cheesy like he does it. He's like, oh yeah, I'm feeling great. But like it looks like he's very naturally rising as it's playing. Almost. And obviously he's listening to it in the car. But the way I interpret it, it's almost as if he's not even listening. Like he's so in his own mind that like finally things are going to get better that he can't even hear the radio. So that's just for us. And it's almost like these two separate pieces that we're watching and listening to that just happen to coincide so realistically.
And I love that it's just still in the car. You
know? Also the fact that it ends up getting at 200 of the 200. So like theoretically throughout the movie we've listened to we didn't actually, but we listened to them all. That was one of them.
A player who goes from a slump position to squared shoulders is likely strong. I think it was the line.
Yeah, when I think that's really his arc to me is his strength is a good representation of that.
Yeah.
But the moment that really hit me and I was like, that's filmmaking, was when they're betting, and he gets the call when. Curtis gets the call. I'm really bad with character names, so if I mess them up, I apologize. Curtis gets the call, and he walks over, and he's just like, we did it, we made it, whatever he says, right? And that was the moment where you see throughout it that, like, you notice more and more Curtis is also a gambling addict.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't seem like it at first, but as it goes, you're like, oh, Curtis is a gambling addict. Got it. But that moment was so indicative. Sorry, I don't want the thing to be going.
Okay.
That moment was so indicative of him actually having this addiction. And you could just see it in his eyes. And Ryan Reynolds' performance throughout the whole thing I think was good. But like honestly, that moment for me was like...
I think out of the Ryan Reynolds movies that I have seen, I'd say this is his best performance.
Is this...
I think it's like one of the more complex characters he's played.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult to compare his other characters because he's usually just the funny hot guy or Deadpool, which is basically the funny used to be hot guy. Like, that's really what Deadpool is.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you... Like, I don't disagree with you necessarily, but how do you compare this, like, complex, in-depth character that he is presenting and the guy in The Proposal who's just like...
I haven't seen The Proposal.
Here's the synopsis. He's a guy, and then his boss is pretending to marry him, then they get married. For real. That's really it.
Well, it sounds like there's not as much room to play with there.
Exactly. It's great.
So,
I like the movie a lot, actually. But like, my point I'm making is that like to say this is his best role to me is not necessarily false. It's just the same thing as being like Chris Pratt is a lot better in Parks and Recreation than he is in Lego Movie. Well, Lego Movie, he's got 2 hours to be good. And in Parks and Recreation, he's like 9 seasons to be good. So it's not really like it's a different thing. But like you said, the argument's like kind of out. Like it's difficult to compare those two things.
I mean, there's there's definitely more for him to play with as an actor in this. Yeah.
Exactly. But he does. I don't disagree with you. He does a great job.
Yeah.
Like his opening thing, I was like, all right. Like I was still kind of my like, oh, we'll watch the movie phase. But I was also like, okay, all right. Let's see where he's going.
Yeah. He does have like an immediate charisma that draws you into the movie, I think.
Ryan Reynolds is the kind of guy who walks on the metaphorical stage and everyone's looking at him. And I respect that. I aspire to be like that.
What was the drink they kept having?
Jesus, I should know it.
Yeah.
Wise Man's. That's not it.
Something like that.
Something with a W.
Yeah. And so, like, when he... so he orders that, and then he... fuck it, let's just say Wise Man. It's not it, but let's say that for simplicity. And he's like, well, that's not a Wise Man. I said I'd pay for a Wise Man.
Yeah.
And then there's like this tense pause moment. And he's like, I'm joking, Jesus.
Yeah.
You're like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
It's, really in many aspects, this movie is kind of... It's like, your normal kind of buddy movie, but I think it's a little bit deeper than those types of movies normally are.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the ending is good.
Good?
I liked it. I want that to be known. I liked it, and I'm happy with where it ended. I really expected in that moment that they were going to lose. And I was like prepared for it. You're convinced they're going to lose. Yeah.
Like it's not a question in your mind.
That's incredible to me that a movie was so good that it tricked me. Yeah. Because usually, hey, spoiler alert for Sorry to Bother You. In some movies, like Sorry to Bother You, they don't trick you. It's just like, oh shit, everyone's turning into horses. Like, it's just like random, not necessarily random, but
there's
like it's just...
no possible way you could have seen
that coming. Maybe there's like some small things sprinkled throughout, but on your first viewing, you're not going to fucking go...
Whereas this movie, it could have gone one way or the other.
It technically explicitly. It was a 50-50 chance, technically.
And so you're watching it, but you're just sure that it can't possibly happen.
And that moment of we can't lose, that, and like, I don't know if you notice this, I try to focus a lot on sound, because I think sound is really important to a movie. If you noticed, the sound got closer. I don't know how to explain it, because I don't know all the technical terms, but like it got closer, and like everything kind of faded away real slowly. And it was just like, we can't lose. And I'm sitting here like, motherfuckers, they're about to lose. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's stressful.
But you know what? It was so realistic. It really looked like I was looking at two gambling addicts, not like I was looking at two actors. And that, to me, that's the mark of a good performance. If you can convince me, I fucking know how many Ryan Reynolds movies. I've seen him in so much shit. Right. I know him as his personality. And this man convinced me he wasn't Ryan Reynolds for a minute. And the other guy, I'm upset I can't remember his name, because he deserves just as much credit.
Mendelsohn. Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn did the exact same thing, but he did it, I think, almost...
Yeah, who the fuck is Donald Sutherland?
Almost better, in my opinion.
It is a great... Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, I think, did a really great job of, like, being Ryan Reynolds and then slowly and surely convincing me that he wasn't. He was this character. But Ben, the second he was on screen, I was like, that motherfucker's got a gambling problem, like, immediately. Yeah. Like, his fucked up hair, and he just looks so fucking tired, and he's sad the whole time.
And he just sounds like he's a little bit drunk all the time.
He does. Yeah. There were points where I almost looked at you and I was like, have they been drinking? Because I wasn't sure. Right. Which is, I think, perfect for that character. And you know what I think is perfect, too? What? Is again, the movie tricks you a couple times to where, like, you really don't know what's coming. when he opened up that safe, I thought back to that reference earlier when they're talking about Jorge, and she's like, oh, he was a liar and he was a cheat and he stole, and Curtis is just kind of like, well, I had a good time, like it didn't really matter to him,
right?
And so when Curtis is going to open up the safe, and we had just seen, I forget his name all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? We saw Ben's character in the safe looking at the money.
Jerry, I think.
Yeah. You could easily assume, and I did at first. I was like, "Oh shit, it's going to be the repeating thing," because to me this movie was setting up for a sad ending. So it was like, "Oh, they're going to lose. Oh, they didn't lose. Oh, but he is going to turn out to be just this horrible person that they've reinforced."
I mean, because you did see him try to steal money before.
Exactly, and it didn't seem like he had growth. But that's like that's what I think is so good about it, is like he did, and you see that at the end. But they like hide that growth for a minute, especially with like him wanting a cheeseburger, because the steak's just not right, and it's just showing that he's still in his old ways. And then he opens it up, and he's left his half, his share, and they both like have grown. And I think that's the mark of a good movie. Is I don't think that every movie needs to be happy. I explicitly like movies with sad endings. That's one of the reasons I love World's End. Like, yeah, they live, but like, at what fucking cost?
Right.
You know what I mean? The world ends.
And what's weird about World's End is it's played like it's a happy ending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My mom hates that, by the way. She still talks about it. She's so pissed. We saw it in theaters, but that's the point. But like, not every movie needs to have a happy ending. But I think that every movie should have whatever the character they're going for grow.
Yeah,
and that's I think something they did very well.
Unless that's like the point.
Well,
yeah,
yes, but even in that case, I would consider that some amount of growth, right? Because it's whatever has happened has led them to like circling back into their old ways. You're not going to have a character that literally doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like even if a character grows or doesn't grow, quote unquote, they probably had something that like changed. You know what I mean? Characters are not 100% static. That's just not. It's not how characters work in stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've seen good stuff with pretty static characters, but that's just not what the movie's about. It's about it's more about the plot that's happening around them, or
yeah. I'm saying in a piece like this that's like clearly about the two of them.
It's a very character-driven movie.
Yeah.
So,
do we rate? Is that how this works? This is your thing.
Yeah, I guess we rated it in the Yorgos Lanthimos one.
We do.
Yeah.
So it's out of 10.
I mean, I'm not done yet.
No, I was just making sure that I know what's going on.
Yeah, we're going to rate it. So you were saying about the 5,000 that Ryan Reynolds won that Curtis won off the dog races.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking about that. And I think really what they're trying to show is that he doesn't want that money.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe he feels some shame for how he got that money.
Yeah.
And so that's why he tried to get mugged.
Yeah.
And then eventually just gave it to his mom.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's Yeah. You got anything else?
I mean, I think that I hit all the key points that I specifically thought about.
Okay. All right, so out of 10.
Out of 10? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it on an honest bell curve, which means that most movies fall between 4 and 6. I'm going to give it a strong... I'm going to give it a strong 6 to a light 7.
Okay. I'm going to give it a light 8.
Okay. Cool.
And so now we're going to be moving on down to Missouri. Ebbing, Missouri.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that, like, so you're looking forward to 10 Cloverfield and you're not looking forward to Ebbing, Missouri, right?
Yeah.
Just because of the name.
Yeah.
And that's 100% of the reason.
Well, I know the plot and I don't think it's interesting.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we'll find out. Next time you hear us, we will have just finished 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Oh. Don't ask me to do this. Replay it, because... why do you make me do these things?
Alright, here we are. We're back. We just finished 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
This is the second time we recorded this part.
Yeah.
Wanted to break away your little magic.
No.
Yep.
But I still haven't heard what you thought about it. So
I think it was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
A good movie.
Yeah.
They likes a movie with a stupid title. It is so willing to subvert expectations, and it is high tier at redeeming characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on.
I expected, what the fuck is his name? Captain Whitaker.
Captain Whitaker.
What is his name?
Willoughby.
Yeah, Willoughby. I expected him to be around the entire time. Like, near the end, I thought he was going to die from his cancer or something. Mm-hmm. Did not see that he would be gone halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Not to the movie's detriment. I think that he is...
Yeah, that's like the catalyst for a lot of the events that kick off.
Yeah, he is around exactly as long as he should be for this movie to be as good as it is, clearly. Right. And I think what they do with Dixon is unmatched. I don't... in a lot of media, I can't think of another character that I have felt so one way about, and then not even 2 hours later have felt like was possibly the best character in the movie. And now it makes sense to me why he won an award for that. Because when he told me that at the very beginning, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? He won an award for this?
Yeah, Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, that's fair. That is a very fair thing. I loved the actress who played whatever her name is. Main girl.
Mildred Hayes.
Mildred. I love strong female characters.
Frances McDormand is the actress.
I love strong female characters. Pardon me. And a tickle in my throat. Okay. And she is the definition of a strong-ass female character. Wow.
Yeah, and, it's not like the trope type of strong female character. Like, she has flaws.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it like that. I just meant, like, if someone was like, name a good, strong female character, I'd be like, oh, remember that movie about the Billboards? And they'd be like, no, nobody saw it. And I'd go, yeah, all right, well.
A lot of people saw this.
Was it a blockbuster?
It wasn't, it wasn't a fucking Marvel movie, but, like, it reached its audience.
Tell me, which one do you think is better? Avengers Infinity War or 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri?
Let me have a good thinking about that one. It's going to be 3 Billboards.
Yeah, it's good.
If we had an actual audience for this, there would probably be a bunch of comments like, what? You like this shit more than Avengers?
I think that I wouldn't even necessarily say that I liked it more. Only because... I don't want to say this correctly. I think it is a better movie. Yeah. But it is more often than not when I see a movie, I'm going for fun. Because I like comedies the most. Whereas this movie, not very fun. Yeah. No, not an enjoyable ride. I mean, like, enjoyable, but, like, in the worst way.
It's a bit fun at times. There's a lot of comedy.
Actually, I was thinking, there's a surprising amount of comedy that I think always lands and does not detract from it. I'd
say so, yeah.
Which is very strange.
I can't think of a joke that doesn't work in this movie.
But still, it's not enjoyable. Like, I just want to, you know what? I just want to just, like, sit back and just watch something. I don't know, Avengers Infinity War or 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing-Haw-Moggery. You know what I mean? Which one am I going to watch? Right. I laughed really hard. My favorite joke was probably the no cunts in this house. Oh, so you're moving out? I put my hands in the air. I was like, what?
And then immediately, what is it? It was gag.
Yeah, it was gag. That kid was. There was actually. I'm gonna retract that statement for a second. There were a surprising amount of actors in this movie who stole this, who like almost stole the scenes they were in, but they were in scenes with other actors doing the same thing. Yeah. And unlike a basketball team where if you have too many stars, it kind of gets muddled. Right. I don't know why I made a basketball reference because I don't really watch basketball, but you know what I'm saying? When there's a team, usually there's too many of like the main guy. You know, if we had 5 LeBron James on the team, it'd probably get fucking difficult to figure out who's playing.
Yeah, I feel like everyone gets a chance to sort of show their acting.
It doesn't seem to be too much of an issue here, where it's like that scene, like her ex-husband, I fucking hated him, but man, he did a good job of making me hate him, right? she was amazing. Her son was amazing, and his fucking new girlfriend was like a good comic relief who was like also kind of a commentary on like a lot, just on her, on who's like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was just a character herself. And that scene where like he comes in and he chokes her and the son pulls the knife and then she's like, "Is this that whole scene?" Every single person in that scene was perfect, in my opinion. I think that was a perfect scene, character-wise. And most of the characters in this movie felt like that, and they felt very human. Red, for example, the guy who sells her the billboards.
Yeah.
I liked him at the beginning. I thought he was funny, and then when he's funny. Then he gets like thrown out the fucking window when he's hurt, and then when he's in the hospital, and Dixon is there who threw him out the window, and like he could like you could see right there like Dixon can't fucking do anything. This guy could fuck him up. He just gets him a little bit of orange juice. And it just shows like the humanity that exists within these people. And I actually think that that's one of the things that helps Dixon grow in a realistic way.
Yeah. I think, well, like, really this is a movie about kind of misplaced anger, right? And, you know, about, well, it's like that line, anger begets greater anger, right?
Yeah.
That was on the bookmark. And that's really the central theme of this, you know, is that everyone's angry for legitimate reasons, but just all in the wrong directions.
Yeah.
You know?
To go to the ending, do you think they kill him?
No, I don't think they do.
I also think they don't. So
Yeah.
we're on the same page. I don't think that they can do it.
Yeah.
Especially with that part of them both being unsure, which I actually assumed they both were based on the characters that they had been showing us up until that point.
Right.
I think that if we were to say, "Oh, that guy lives down the block," I think easily they'd kill him.
Yeah.
I think it is very unrealistic to expect that they're going to drive all the way fucking there and not have the epiphany of like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I think really the end question of if they go to kill him or not, that's like that's, you know, it reminds me of The Lobster, right? At the end, and here's why. So the question at the end of The Lobster is, does he blind himself or not? And really, in both of these cases, is have they kind of learned the lesson of the movie? Is the question that's being asked in that moment. So, you know, if they kill him or if they don't, is whether or not they've sort of learned to kind of direct their anger, and in The Lobster it's whether or not he's kind of accepted the bullshit of society.
Yeah. For the record, just because I'm curious, do you think he blinds himself?
I really don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No.
No, you don't think he does?
I don't think he does. That's just me, though. We can talk about that more.
That's what I wanted to say at first when you first asked me, but I kind of thought about it for a second. Like, actually, I'm not entirely sure.
I'd have to rewatch it again, which we'll do at some point, and I'll give a better, more, you know, in the moment response.
Right.
But I
think, I don't think he does.
But it's very good. It's interesting to me to say you like this one more than
Mississippi Grind?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would say. See, a movie being a better movie and me liking it more are two very different things in my head, right?
Okay.
Mother, maybe not a good example because Mother's up there for sure. Trying to think of another like very artsy film. It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Right.
I think it's a really good film. Probably definitively a better film than We're the Millers.
Yeah.
But if you give me nine
least.
times out of 10, I'd probably pick We're the Millers though, because I want to watch something funny, and even though the movie's probably I haven't seen it in years, but as a kid I really liked it, so I'd probably still enjoy a little bit of it. Whereas like if I'm gonna watch It's Such a Beautiful Day, I'm like, oh okay cool, I just want to be fucking sad for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I want to be weird.
That's my third favorite movie.
Well, whenever I see that movie, I have to like sit and like we did you one time, you, me, and Drew.
Have you seen It's Such a Beautiful Day since the first time we watched it?
I think I've seen it 3 times.
Okay.
Once with you and Drew, once with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and once with an old friend of mine, I want to say.
I was just listening to that old thing we recorded right after we watched it.
Yeah. Oh, we have that? I would love to listen to that at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's actually a lot about kind of our past mixed up in that podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of big life events going on all around there. A lot of personal stuff.
Maybe we'll put that out at some point just to listen to it.
Yeah. But so like there's a lot of standout scenes in Three Billboards. You know, there's just it's hard for me to like point out a definitive best one because there's just like so many scene stealing. It's like what was that one long take? You remember that?
Wait,
one
throws him out the window?
Yeah,
I thought
that was fucking.
What's
amazing.
so weird about that is I didn't say anything about when we were watching the movie because I wanted to bring it up here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed about 20 minutes later, I was sitting there thinking about it while we were watching it, and I was like, that was one fucking take.
Yeah.
Like, it literally hit me, like, almost an act later into the movie, and I was like, holy shit. and as I thought about it, I was like, that's such an incredible...
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you even...
Just
like,
from a filmmaking perspective, yeah.
Well, because it's clearly... It clearly is actually one take, in my opinion. I don't think it's like a trick. It's clearly one take.
Yeah.
So, clearly they threw him out of a building.
Mm-hmm.
And again, clearly they didn't actually throw him out onto the concrete.
Right. There's probably a, padding there.
So think about, having to, time that out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and getting the makeup on him so he's fucked up more.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe... I was saying him getting thrown out could have been a body double, but you see him before he gets thrown out.
Yeah.
So, it's just gotta be the guy.
And you see him get hit.
Yeah.
And there's no blood on his face before it gets hit, and after there's, a big spot of blood.
Yeah.
It was some really well done effects there. So probably what they did is they threw him out onto a mattress or something.
Yeah.
And then...
I was just saying, just the practicality of that is insane.
Right.
Wow. That was a really good one. The death scene, the suicide scene, was so good.
Oh yeah, when
awful. I shouldn't phrase it like that. Maybe. The suicide was so good. No, but
I know what you mean.
It was shot well.
Oh,
and his character.
Yeah, don't open the bag. Just phone the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything about his death, he just made, he went as far as he could, kind of not to hurt everyone the least.
Also, it really came out as a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Which was good. Because I think had I seen it coming, I wouldn't have given him as much of a shit, or it wouldn't have been as powerful. But it was, literally, he was holding the sack, and in my head I was like, what's he gonna fucking do? I think I thought hang himself. Was he going to hang himself? Mm-hmm. He puts it on and he's he says ha ha ha, whatever the fuck they're talking about him and his wife, and he references Oscar Wilde, and then he pulls out the gun, and I was like, holy fuck! I just did not see that coming.
Yeah. Also, it gets pretty political at times. This movie, there's some political themes in there. And I remember there was the one point when you're like, what, you just gonna fire him after he threw a dude out a window? You're not gonna arrest him?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, do you know what fucking country this movie takes place in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually racist.
No?
No. I think it's a product of his upbringing, and I think... Because by the end of it, he's not, still being... when he finds out that it's not the guy... He's not fuck you, he just hands over his badge, and he's just kind of
yeah,
you know what I mean? And maybe it's just him growing in general, but I think that he's not meant to be
right.
Internally he's not meant to be a shitty dude.
Yeah, you can tell from his mother that he was kind of raised in by not the ideal parent there.
Also, by the way, still super weird to me that she is the fucking mom, Mac's mom from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, actors do other roles.
Well, just because I've never seen her in something else. And she's such a specific looking person.
Yeah.
That I know I would recognize her, because the second she was on screen I went, that's Mac's mom from Always Sunny. There was no thinking about it. I knew who she was.
Yeah.
So I feel if I had seen her in something else, at least since I've watched that show, which was 3 years ago I watched through it, I think. I feel I would have remembered or noticed.
Yeah. I wish this would have won Best Screenplay.
It was nominated, I'm guessing?
It was nominated. You know what won?
What?
Get Out.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was good. It wasn't better than this.
Really? Because a lot of people think that movie is groundbreaking.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Are you excited for his next project?
Yeah, Get Out was really good, so I'll definitely check it out.
Okay.
For a while I was kind of, during those Oscars, I was sort of between Shape of Water and Three Billboards and leaning towards Shape of Water, but I think these days I think Billboards is the best out of that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
How would you rate it?
I would give this one a 9 out of 10. Very good movie.
I'd give it a... Oh, that is hard. Wow. A strong 7 to a light 8.
Okay. So better than Mississippi Grind, then?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah? Alright.
Again, better movie, but I think if I had to pick one of the two of them to watch on an average day, I'd probably pick Mississippi Grind because it's a bit less heavy.
Right. You know what I was going to say during the intro, but just saved it for Mississippi Grind and then didn't say it while we were talking about Mississippi Grind, is I'm surprised that movie didn't have a more mainstream appeal. Yeah, I'm surprised more people don't know about that movie because it's got Ryan Reynolds in it, and I feel like it's got a...
Why do they not? Because it's newer, right? It's 2015, you said?
2015, yeah.
So why? Because I'd never heard of it. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why more people haven't seen it.
And it's not... Here's why that's weird to me, too. Because if that came out in 2015, Deadpool was Valentine's Day 16, which means that he had already been cast and we all already knew it was coming. So he was already, like... Not that Deadpool made his career, because he was way big before that. But, like... Deadpool, I think, grew his career an awful lot just the second we all knew it was going to be him.
Right.
So, to me, anything that came out after that it contains Ryan Reynolds, I'd assume everybody would fucking know about it, myself included.
Oh, so you think if this movie came out in 2017, so 2015, everyone would know?
I'm surprised that people didn't even know about it then, because it was still... The point I'm making is that, like, I don't think that actually would have made a difference. I think that us all knowing him already... for lots of things, and then that he was going to be Deadpool at the point that this movie came out, I'm surprised because of that it didn't garner more of a response.
All right.
That's just me, though.
All right, then. Time for our third here movie of the South, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Goody.
Yeah. This is the one you've been most excited
about.
No,
yeah, I'm just tired.
Yeah. And this is, so next time you hear our voices, we will have just finished 10 Cloverfield Lane.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Man, that was the best 10 seconds of silence that I've ever heard in my entire life. Try our new 5-second silence. Wow, what a sample.
Because it wasn't quite...
And we're back. We just finished 10 Cloverfield Lane.
That movie's on your top. What number is it?
It's in the 90s.
It's in the 90s.
Yeah, it is. No, it's not. It's 110.
Let it be known that Ian's 110th movie is certifiable dog shit.
Really?
I honestly, if I could know how much I would like or dislike that movie, I would love to go back in time and make it so I've never seen that movie.
It wasn't that bad. Come on.
No, it's not that it was that bad. Is that it was so unenjoyable. It's done nothing to give me anything more in my life that I didn't already have. So effectively, it was a waste of an hour and 45 minutes.
I think it might have been a little bit of a whiplash effect, considering the two movies we watched before it.
I don't think so. I mean, like, I'm sure that has some bearing on it, but, like, the first half was boring and nothing happened. And then, like the entire movie is literally, from my perspective, nothing happens. And then, a whole bunch of times, everybody's, like, accusing each other of shit. And then, the only character that has any qualities that are, like, not even redeeming. What's his name? Evan or is Eben?
Emmett.
Emmett. All right, my bad. Emmett seems like a real character who maybe doesn't have... None of them really have any growth. Which is funny, because we were talking about that in the last part, about growth. None of them really grow, in my opinion. They all just kind of, like, are people. But he seems like kind of a genuine person. Whatever the fuck his name... Howard is needlessly cryptic and doesn't explain shit at the beginning, which just causes all the problems.
What doesn't he explain?
He fucking walks in and she's like, get away from me, get away from me, and he's just like, I'm sorry, nobody's looking for you, and then walks out. You can't go, hey, listen, here's the situation. Like, he immediately just makes everything seem weird and cryptic for no reason.
That's who he is. He's not a socially skilled person.
I understand that, but my problem with it is not that, like, oh, well, that's just his character. Cool. That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it's good because it's written that way. Because guess what? That's it. It's his character. It's a made-up character. It doesn't exist. They could have written a better character.
I think Howard is very interesting.
I think Howard is a not interesting character. He's cryptic for no reason. And all the things I've ever heard about this movie, good or bad, I've always heard, oh, but his performance, though, is like the best part of the movie. His performance was whatever, in my opinion.
No.
I was not impressed in any way.
He completely transforms himself into that role. That's great.
He just seems like it. No, it doesn't. No. Like that just seems... Like we were talking about Ryan Reynolds.
I guess it's kind of nice that we have one that we are like disagreeing on. This will make the podcast a little more
we were talking about Ryan Reynolds earlier, and I was like, he did such a good job. He convinced me he wasn't Ryan Reynolds, right? Fucking I can't remember his name all of a sudden. I knew it earlier. John Goodman. John Goodman did not transform himself for me to go, oh wow, he's playing a character like he's this person. The entire time I was just like, John Goodman's just being a weird. John Goodman's just being an asshole for no reason. Also, I've just got so many fucking problems. First of all, when he first shot Emmett, I had like a good reaction. I was like, oh, that's awful, but hell yeah, for about 30 seconds. And then I went, wait, but now the only characters left are characters I don't care about.
Yeah, well,
so like I literally, I'm not. This is not a joke. From the moment Emmett died until that movie just ended, the entire time I was going, this movie needs to end. When is this movie going to end? This movie doesn't know when to end. There were 5 different times I was like, oh, it's at... Oh,
I don't
no,
like
she's
the ending. I don't like
she's
the ending
fighting aliens. So, okay, what's going to be over? Oh, no, she's driving. Okay, it's over. Oh, we should have to listen to the radio. It's like, how about you just fucking end? Just also, this is my biggest gripe with this fucking movie, all right? So, as soon as I started to feel weary about the suit, you were like, I looked at a video, I watched a thing about it. It is scientifically possible that could protect her if there was radiation, which I guess there isn't, is the point. It's like that spray stuff, which I'm going to get into that in a second. But it's the fucking chemical that dissolves human into bones, and then he lays in it for like a good hot couple seconds, and then he gets up and he's like barely deformed.
It's like a puddle of it. It's like a centimeter thick of liquid.
Okay, but still, his entire side of his face was in it. And according to him, it like dissolves skin, and this whole part of his face is fine. It's just the size.
He wasn't submerged in the liquid. He fell into like a thin puddle.
Motherfucker, when he dropped the like scissors into there, the second they touched
into a vat, you don't know how liquids work.
Yes, I do. Listen, all I'm saying is that whether or not, I'm not saying his face should be gone completely. I'm saying there should be any damage to the front part of his face, and that's
the part of his face he fell on.
There's damage to the sides. I fucking made a note of it.
He fell on the side.
But he fell like this, dude. This part of his nose over was all in the puddle. It should all have damage. It should all have damage. It's gross filmmaking because it is not. It's not listening to your own logic that they set up. They said the logic of like...
It's not the same. Okay, so if you take a glass of water and submerge your hand in it...
No, I understand.
No. And then you pour that glass so you submerge your right hand in the water, then you pour the water onto the floor and stick your hand in the puddle on the floor. Your right hand is going to be more wet than your left hand.
I agree with that. The issue is that the way that this works out with your analogy is his left hand wasn't wet. In your analogy, if you look at that, it's just the sides. And if you go back and look, I made a fucking note because as soon as she dropped it and he fell in, I was like, let's go do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so while he's doing that, I'm gonna continue to complain. So that annoys me as well. First of all, I've already said, sorry, I'm so flustered right now. This movie was such dog shit, in my opinion. it being related to Cloverfield, which we discussed earlier, was a shoehorn, correct?
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of, I guess, the Cloverfield title is like, it's supposed to be a sci-fi anthology, I think.
Yeah, okay. So, I really didn't like the reveal of it being, like, actually 10 Cloverfield Lane, like, between the mailbox. I think that's stupid. I think there's no reason for that. Like, we got it.
There is no reason for that. I agree with that.
Okay, cool. I don't know if you could hear. I don't know how far away you are, but yeah.
I think they
I'm sure
heard me.
Ian could agree with me. That's dumb as fuck. That's stupid. Okay. Next, we never get any closure on whether or not that was actually his daughter or he kidnapped that girl. Now, clearly,
He clearly kidnapped it. That was the reveal
listen,
that he kidnapped that
there's
girl.
there's no. He never says that. There's no. Like, honestly, it has to be 100% explicit. But literally, it's just like they're like the two people we think he did
There
this.
is no
thing.
other possibility.
You don't know that they didn't. We're living in a world in this movie. This is a world where aliens have come and are destroying the world, right? You can't tell me there's literally no other possibility.
That's like completely not related to this thing.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna look and see about him falling into the vat. I am thoroughly upset about it. So like,
I'm rewinding it right now.
we're rewinding right now. Okay, we're gonna watch him fall in. His fucking full side of the full right side of his face.
Look at the shadow. He's holding his head up.
But it's gushing. It still would hit him. It would still. Go later. There is nothing on that side of his face. You're telling me no droplets, nothing damaged any part of that. Just the sides. That's with how much that's rushing out. That is unrealistic and that does not make any sense.
No, you're just wrong.
I'm not. Look, watch this. Look.
You just fucking.
It literally just splashed him in the face.
He's not. Look at his shadow.
I can see his fucking. They can't see his shadow, so that's not going to help your fucking point, Ian.
Go pop this movie in and look at his shadow. Look, he's holding his head above the liquid.
Ian, I understand that. I'm saying the liquid is splashing, correct? It would splash up at least the littlest bit, which would affect his skin on
You're
that part of
talking
his face.
about it like it's a fucking fire hose of liquid. It's pouring out of the barrel, right? The barrel knocks over here. Well, I can't even fucking do this because we're on a podcast. They can't see it. But
I'm just saying there should be.
Just take a note, audience, that Bae's just completely fucking insane right now.
There should be You're saying there should be no damage to his face there.
There was damage to his face.
On the sides, nothing here. This part would have been splashed.
On one side, on the side of his face, the other side.
Look. I feel like you're not understanding what I'm saying. I want to make sure this is clear. So we're gonna stop.
I feel like you're not understanding reality.
No. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. This is okay. When we look at him later, these parts, their sides by his ears, are damaged. Which you can agree, that one doesn't make any sense because this side, with your logic, was completely away from all of it. So why would this part be damaged?
I don't think it was it.
We can double check that, but I'm pretty sure both sides of his ears are damaged. So let's double check that. I'm sure you can just cut out this little bit while we're waiting. It's fine.
Well, just keep talking, I guess.
Well, I got nothing else to say while we wait. So.
What?
Okay, I was wrong.
Alright.
Okay, I was wrong. It was one side of his ear, so that makes sense. That was my mistake. So the one side of his ear is damaged, but you're telling me that with the water rushing like that, and I know you're saying it's not a fire hose, obviously, but it does come out pretty fast, and the point I'm making is that it's over.
He falls after the barrel, that. So
yeah, but if you look, there's still some coming out after he falls.
There's still some coming out.
Dude, literally go watch it. We can see it splash up. We just watched it.
It would have been dots of it, though.
I'm saying you couldn't add that little bit extra. I know that seems like it's nitpicky, but they set up very explicitly that that's what this acid does.
The part of his head that was submerged in the liquid, it burned off.
Yeah, I'm not saying just the submerged part should be affected because there should be droplets from the splash. Listen, we can move on. That's not telling one of my issues with this movie. Killing off Emmett was a stupid fucking decision because I stopped caring about the entire movie. He was the only character that was in any way likable.
What's wrong with her?
She's nothing. What is her personality? Who is she?
She had plenty of character moments.
She is literally girl. She is girl in the movie. We saw her with just panties at the beginning. Ooh, sexy. It's just girl. That's what she is. So literally, she is just a girl in the movie.
No, she is. She's skeptical. She is. She has all that regret from the.
Literally, we learned that both of them have a regret. Most people, I would say, have regrets about things in their life. Not an interesting character. That's not interesting. Second, being skeptical isn't a good character trait. She literally wakes up and she's abducted by someone who goes, the air is poisonous. You tell me you wouldn't be fucking skeptical? Every person in the world. The only reason the other guy is not is because he came there willingly. Right? That doesn't make her have any sort of character just because she's doing what the normal, logical person would do. I'm saying, what is her development? Her development is she's skeptical, and then she's cool, and then she's like cool with it, and then she's skeptical again, and then she pretends to be cool with it, and then she escapes.
I mean, she's smart. She puts like the dots together. She does. It's not like the fucking best character in the world.
I'm saying that
it's not trying to be though. It's a pretty popcorn movie.
Is that what it is? Because to me, it felt like it was supposed to be a character piece, and it failed horribly. Like literally. First of all, it's going to be so difficult to pull off a movie with just 3 characters, in my opinion. You need 3 people who are on their shit. Emmett, not the best actor, but like a likable character to some degree. Girl was whatever and boring. And Howard, again, I feel like he is needlessly cryptic and just like, I get that he's supposed to be like a social outcast and he spent his whole life like worrying about this thing and everyone thought he was crazy, but then he's right. And I get that that's what they're going for. But like I said, if you, let's say, I understand he's more socially awkward than you are, but if you were in this scenario and you were Howard, don't you think the first fucking thing you'd say to somebody is, hey, don't freak out, I'm not here to hurt you? He doesn't even reassure her of anything. He literally just goes, you need fluids, sorry nobody's looking for you. And then he locks her in a room.
Well, he is a serial killer.
Is that also just like, see, that's like that,
I don't understand how you didn't pick up on this.
No, I picked up on that clearly because he killed that girl, whoever she was. Again, I agree that she was probably not his daughter, logically. But again, they don't actually resolve that. They just kind of go like, "We figured it out," and then they never like confront him in any way.
That's not like a plot line to resolve. That's the fact that they find out that he killed her is the resolving of a plot line, not a plot line that's
I disagree with that, because to me it opened up more questions than it answered.
Like what?
Why was he lying? How did he get that girl?
Well, he was lying because he fucking killed the girl.
Yeah, okay. If he is apparently a smart dude, which he seems like a pretty fucking smart guy, why would he show her a picture of someone that he knows the other guy would know who that is? And he's like, why would he know that? Well, he knows this other guy pretty fucking well. He knew this girl. Clearly, he knew where both of them... He must have known where both of them went to school.
Well, he clearly, like, showed a bit of hesitation before he showed her that picture. But so he's telling her it's his daughter. And also, it doesn't even, like, matter.
Yes, it does.
It
does matter.
It has nothing to do with anything.
That's my fucking problem, Ian. It has nothing to do with anything. Why would you put something in your movie that holds no weight and means nothing? That's ridiculous.
No, I'm not saying that whole thing has nothing to do with anything. I'm saying it's not like a plot hole.
I'm not saying it's a plot hole. I'm saying it doesn't matter. Like, the point I am making is, if we're looking at these characters as if they are real people, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. Howard is crazy.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, for whatever degree, he's crazy. But what is he trying to get the whole movie? He's just trying to get them to stay there and just listen to him. Right? We would agree with that?
Well, I think he sort of wanted her to be his kind of daughter surrogate.
I agree.
And that's sort of what the other girl was.
Yeah. So that's like his goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does he gain from lying to her about who this girl was?
Makes him seem trustworthy.
Why not just say you don't have a picture of her? What is the difference there? There's no difference in those two things. In one way, you fucking lied. Why does it make him...
I think he just has fond memories of having that girl there and wanted to share that in a way that wouldn't reveal himself.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just, to me, it is poor writing. It's poor character writing. And I'm not the best fucking writer in the world. I probably couldn't write a fucking movie this good, which is upsetting for me. But, like, it's the truth. I'm not... This is not my job. I'm not a professional movie writer. But if I was the person who wrote this movie and then I watched it back, I would be so fucking, like, embarrassed that my name is on this.
I think the last 10 minutes are
ruin it.
Pretty fucking bad,
Yeah.
right?
Here's my problem with. So I think up to that point, it's a pretty good thriller. The idea that you don't know, it puts you in the character's perspective, and you don't know really what's going on outside, and you kind of the way it reveals information over the course of the movie. But then fucking J.J. Abrams, so these people wrote this movie, right, about these people being held up in a bunker, and one of them's a killer, and all of that, and basically they didn't write the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Oh.
And so then J.J. Abrams
So what was the original idea? That she would just escape and she'd just be out?
We don't know. We'll never know.
Okay.
But J.J. Abrams saw the script and basically acted in the role of, like, the pinstripe suit, cigar-smoking producer, and came up and was like, "But you want to make money, don't you? We got to slap the Cloverfeild logo onto this."
Gotcha.
And I think it was a great script and a great movie that's kind of really let down.
There
by
are some
its
good
ending.
parts, like when they're talking about their regrets.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still feel like her character doesn't develop enough in any way.
I don't think characters need to necessarily develop.
I'm not saying they do either, but when your whole fucking movie is only 3 people in 3 rooms, you need to do something other than a montage of them playing games, and then her trying to escape, and then her trying to escape, and then her thinking about escaping. Like, that's the entire movie.
She doesn't want to escape the whole movie. There's like
There's one montage, and then after that montage, she immediately finds out about the help thing, and then she just goes, "Maybe I should try to escape." That's the movie. She wants to escape a couple times. Then there's a montage.
The movie is like raising the question of whether he's lying or not, and that's the tension of the movie.
Guess what? Here's the thing. It was a psychological thriller, and in 0 parts of this movie was I on edge. The only thing...
that's just you. I was.
The only thing that I felt...
Most people were.
The only thing I felt remotely interesting was I was like, I wonder what really did happen. Like, to a very small degree, I was like, I wonder what's out there. And then as soon as we got out there and we saw it was generic-ass CGI aliens that have no backstory and that we have known nothing about with no lore, that we don't know what their powers are. We don't know how strong they are. We don't know...
What would it add to the movie if we had those explanations?
So much.
No, it doesn't need that.
Yes, it does.
That wouldn't help it at all.
Right now, there are no stakes to me because she walked out there and.
What do you mean? There's no stakes? She's trying to survive.
But like the stakes don't exist if we don't know what she's going up against in any way. Literally, it's just like, first of all, the shots are way too dark outside.
The fear of the unknown. That's not really what this movie's playing off of, but like. You don't need to... We know it's a threat. Okay?
Yes, I understand that. I'm not saying that we need to know expressly every single thing about what we're looking at. But we know literally nothing. Like, that gas shit that it sprays. She's running from it. In my head, I'm going, yeah, I run from it too, but like logically, we don't know that that's dangerous. Yeah, I know that sounds ridiculous, but why? We've never seen it. We've never seen it in the whole movie. We can assume that, like, oh, that's the thing that made the people go crazy. But we don't know. And I'm not saying that everything has to be super just laid out for the viewer.
I mean, it sounds like that's what you're saying.
No, it's not. Well, you just can't introduce new things 10
be
minutes before the ending. You literally introduce all this new shit 10 minutes before the ending and give no explanation. You're telling me these things are a threat, but she killed that giant-ass thing with a fucking Molotov cocktail? But I'm supposed to believe that
that's her intuitive.
But you're telling me that I should be threatened by these monsters and they can be killed by a bottle, a lighter, a little bit of alcohol, and a piece of cloth. That's all you need. You can just kill a whole big one. So why is the small one a threat now?
What are you fucking talking about? It nearly ate her face.
But what if she... I'm saying... We don't even know...
If she didn't get that fucking door closed, she'd be dead. If she didn't, like, fucking get the car off in time, she'd be dead. There's, like they are a threat to her, clearly.
No, they're not, because she's fine. Like, that's... like
in every fucking movie, they beat the bad guy. So are you saying no bad guys in all of cinematic history are a threat?
No, but I'm saying that there are plenty who aren't a threat. For example, when I watched the first Avengers movie, I thought it was a fine movie. I had a good time. Nowhere did I think it was actually a fucking threat because there were 18 other movies coming out. There was no way I was like, oh, it's a threat. They might kill Iron Man. No, they're fucking not going to. Duh, it's not a real threat. It's just supposed to be a movie, so you turn off your brain. The issue is that this movie does not present itself as it's just fun. It's it's whatever. It's a superhero movie, whatever it is. Just turn off your brain and enjoy it. This movie is like, is she gonna die? What's gonna happen? Oh, guess what? This giant, big ass monster that she's super afraid of. You can just throw a bottle at it. A bottle that's on fire, and it just the whole thing explodes for some reason. Why would the whole thing
time that?
Why would the whole thing
because
explode?
it's filled with gas. The gas is flammable.
How would she fucking
because
know
she
that?
saw it. She saw the gas go over to the flames, and they fluffed up, and she saw it, and she put two and two together.
That's so dumb. That is such a stupid fucking cop-out way to get through your movie. That's horrible writing, and that movie sucks. That is a bad movie, and you cannot disagree that it makes no.
I don't even understand how you're saying that.
Why would you add all this new shit in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, okay. The last 10 minutes is... I wish it wasn't there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Right.
Last 10 minutes, pretty fucking bad.
But I wish it wasn't there. It doesn't need to be there, but I wouldn't say that it doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying that it is ridiculous. This movie goes from being in my opinion, boring, quote-unquote psychological thriller that is nowhere near really being psychological or thrilling in any way, and it turns into just it's generic aliens and they're a threat, run away, he was right, so I guess he wasn't really that crazy, he was just a serial killer? But why, if he's a serial killer, why does he even keep the guy there at all before she wakes up? Why not just immediately...
He forced his way in.
Why not just immediately fucking kill him and then dump him in the stuff that dissolves people?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have any reason to yet. I mean,
he's a serial killer. What the fuck reason does he need?
Well, the one girl was he had the reason to kill the girl. She was trying to escape, and so he killed her.
But you see, the point I'm making is yeah, that guy forced his way in. So first of all, Howard didn't want him there, clearly. Yeah. So you're telling me if you were a crazy serial killer and some dude forced your way in and you were ready to have this father-son fantasy with this girl you just took, that you know for a fact you have the ability to kill him and you have a thing that can dissolve his entire body and she isn't awake yet and she's in a room she can't get out of, locked away, your first thought wouldn't be, fucking kill this guy. That whole thing right there makes no sense that he was even in the movie then. Why would Emmett even be in the movie? Because he shouldn't fucking be.
Just because he killed one person doesn't mean that's his automatic response to people.
I'm not saying it's an automatic response, but clearly, and you agree with this, the whole thing that he's going for is having this fantasy with girl. Right?
Yeah.
So, Emmett is literally only in his way.
Hey, let's start this movie from the beginning. So...
okay, from the beginning? Right. Why the fuck doesn't it actually explain what she's running from?
She had an argument with her boyfriend and she's leaving him.
Yeah, that's just... To me, that's needless. That's needless. Just
clearly things didn't work out with her and Scott Pilgrim.
I understand. Is that who plays that voice?
No, it's... she plays Ramona
Flowers.
I
thought she looked kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, she's really good at that, too. That's sad. I guess I don't even really blame her.
Would you even say this was a bad performance from her?
No, that's what I was going to say. I wouldn't really blame her. I just think it was poorly written, in my opinion. No, okay, so I understand what she's running from. I get that. What I mean to say is, it doesn't add anything.
I kind of wish we hadn't watched Boyhood, because that would have been...
That would have been really good one.
Yeah,
it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
Literally, her running from her boyfriend is just a catalyst to get her in the car. But here's the thing. You're writing your movie... Just have her in the car for any other reason. Maybe she's just in the car. Why do we need to she's running away from her boyfriend because they got into a fight.
That's her character.
Does that come back up at all ever in the fucking story? Literally never. No, it doesn't. It never comes back up.
I think it informs her character's decisions.
In what way? Because later she does make a reference to I always run away from my problems. But we don't know, to me... But that sets...
If you want her arc, that's it.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying, right? When she says that, she's talking about watching this guy, basically hit his daughter. Mm-hmm. And so she's saying that, this problem that she ran away from, and the problem she's explaining, though it's awful and you shouldn't hit your kids, especially in public and shit, not you should ever, but, you're an idiot if you're doing it that way.
Bay Dornbos, if you want to get away with hitting your kids...
There's the advice.
Ian Moore, minimizing my good points by making jokes about things I say. The point I'm making is that when she says that later... Oh, thanks for spilling my water, asshole. Sam, could you please get that?
Sam, what did you think of this movie?
She wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Am I correct in saying that, Sam?
A little bit.
The point I'm making is that the only time it gets brought back up is later when she says she always runs away from problems, right? In which she's talking about a problem that is in no way related to her and doesn't tell us anything about any other decision she's ever made. For all we know, she's running away because he's an abusive boyfriend and he beat the shit out of her, right?
Well,
awful.
Given what he said on the phone, it doesn't sound like that's the case.
So what, she's just running because they had an argument?
Yeah.
So she runs from things that really shouldn't be run from?
Yeah.
So she's... Do you see the point I'm making?
What? She's a flawed character.
No! The point I'm making is that your fucking character arc shouldn't start with something that we need to have a discussion about because you could debate what it means.
What?
Because I would disagree with you. I think that very clearly what he is trying to... What is happening is that he was abusive, and then...
They had one... This is like...
That's
their first fight, even.
That's the point I'm making. Is that literally... That thing can be debated that it's either your thing or my thing. And that's bad storytelling.
You're right. You know what? Movies should just... The screenwriter should just be sitting in the corner, green screened in, explaining everything.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, that is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you want your character to be... You're telling me she's interesting or has any arc at all?
She's not that interesting. She's
not?
She's not nothing.
She is nothing. What is her arc?
But her arc is learning to stand up for herself.
Okay, I guess I kind of can see that.
It's
but
not,
at the end of it, she's running
not
away.
The most
so she didn't...
complex character. Well, after defeating the guy, after taking on her villains.
Yeah, but she's still running, so it doesn't matter. It defeats the purpose. She's still running.
She threw a fucking Molotov cocktail into its throat.
Oh my god, that's such a stupid fucking thing that you can say that is true. That's the dumbest thing that happens in this movie. Why? It's just... This movie, in my opinion, is not any good. That's just where I'm going to stand on it. I'm not saying you have to say everything expressly, you have to explain everything, but the movie, to me, none of it makes any sense in any sort of logic, and it isn't psychologically thrilling, which is the thing that it is. It didn't do that thing. So right there, no matter what else you can say that I agree or disagree with, that's a fundamental problem I have with this movie. You cannot say it is a psychological thriller. I mean, you can, because it's what it's labeled as. But I'm saying, I cannot say that it is a good psychological thriller if at literally 0 points I was interested in anyone's psyche or I was thrilled. The only thing I felt this entire movie was, God, he's being needlessly cryptic. Jesus, fuck, they're always just at each other's throats, mentally, is he lying? What's going on? Just fucking, I don't know, do something, right? Do anything. Also, why the fuck would Emmett be it was just me? Clearly, in the moment I wasn't expecting it, but they should have realized right there he was going to kill whoever admitted to it.
Well, he didn't want him to kill her.
Yeah, but if you... Okay, my logic is, and maybe this is my... This is not even an opinion on the movie being good or bad. This is just myself in this situation, right? I wouldn't solely agree to it. I would say that it was the two of us, because clearly he would have to go for one of us first, and he'd have to take a second to make that decision, and then I would just bum rush him. I'm not saying that it would work necessarily. I'm just saying it seems like a better idea than just going, yes, man with the gun who's standing in front of the acid that will burn me into bones. I'm the one who tried to steal your gun. You know what I mean?
He did that to protect her. That was a noble thing.
I'm not saying it wasn't noble. I'm not even saying that thing should be changed in the movie.
I don't even think that was...
I'm not even saying the thing's bad. I'm not saying that part of the movie is necessarily bad. I'm saying that, me in that situation, that's not what I would do. That's not affecting my view on the movie. I don't like the movie for other reasons. Actually, as much as I think that killing Emmett was the dumbest thing because it took away my ability to care about the movie, I will give it credit that it just fucking killed a character, which did not necessarily seem to me like it was just...
What's really surprising is that this movie's PG-13.
Really?
Yeah.
That is very surprising.
You wouldn't think.
Yeah, I know. I would think it's R.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they were, like, right on the edge of it, you know. Like, just the gore... I guess that's your answer as to why the gore is how it is
I guess
on his face. But,
do they even say fuck at all?
They do. They say fuck twice, actually.
Okay, because what is, like... Or that's cunt. That's the 6 times thing.
Yeah, cunt, you can say, I think, 6 times in an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what Edgar Wright was told.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you rate this movie, unless you've got more things to talk about?
Well, I'll just say I think there was a really great build of tension. I think there was a lot of great tension in a lot of scenes. I think John Goodman's character was a very interesting and dynamic villain. I really like the progression of the plot, and overall, I'm going to give this a high 7 to a light 8.
Okay. I think that this movie was boring. John Goodman's character, I think, out of everything you said, is the thing I probably disagree with most, is the opposite of dynamic or interesting, because he is static the entire time and is just set in his ways and is just needlessly cryptic and just crazy, basically because I think that the story is poorly written. I think J.J. Abrams, if what you're saying is true, that he came in and just wrote the last part of it out of nowhere. Not that I'm saying you're not telling the truth, but I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Ruined what could have been at least a decent movie, and I think that I am feeling a light 3 on this fucking movie.
A light 3?
Yeah.
Alright, so...
I would rather not watch this movie. I would almost rather let you make me watch Whiplash than see this movie again.
Well, Whiplash is fucking phenomenal. It's my 14th
I mean, it might be.
film.
I just don't... That's like the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
But, yeah, so... what did you think overall of this sort of marathon?
I'm really upset we ended with this one because...
I'm actually really glad.
Why?
Because I think the argument makes this podcast more interesting to listen to.
Well, yeah, I guess that's fair. The first one, a real good starter. So if we're gonna do more things like this, where you're picking movies and stuff, start with more movies that are easier like that. I think I would have liked Billboards less had we started with it, or it would have been harder to get into. I can't remember what the fuck it was called for some reason. Mississippi Grind?
Mississippi Grind.
It would have been harder to get into Mississippi Grind if we had watched Billboards first, just because it was so heavy that like it really takes you down a level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both phenomenal. I think I probably still, after marinating a little bit, I still probably like Billboards a little bit more than Grind. But I would agree with myself, as I said earlier, that I would think that on an average day, if I was to pick one of them to watch, it'd be Mississippi Grind because it's a bit easier to watch, a bit more fun, quote unquote. And I think that 10 Cloverfield Lane, as of what I've heard, is the good Cloverfield movie, which means that I don't ever want to fucking watch the other ones ever because I will apparently fucking hate them.
Well, I don't know if it would work like that. I
mean, I know they're all different, but I've heard that like of the cinematic universe, this is the good one. Is what I've always been.
So I guess we're not doing that Cloverfield.
Yep, there's no way. Absolutely not. Especially since I've heard Paradox is so much worse than this. I can't even imagine.
Fucking dog shit.
I can't even imagine.
I think it's as bad as you think this movie is.
I don't know. What would I think then? Maybe I'd love it.
I think you would feel about the same, actually.
Okay.
I don't think it's hitting the floor there.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were the movies of the South.
Yep. So hey, thanks for watching the 3 Movies podcast.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Not sure what that'll be.
It'll be 3 movies I pick.
It'll be 3 movies Bay picks.
Yep. Or it'll be the other one.
You know what? Let's just say it's the 3 movies you pick.
Radical.
Alright.
And my 3 movies are going to be fucking... This isn't really it, but I'm just going to spew 3 out of my head. And maybe this will be it. My 3 movies are going to be... The SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Okay.
SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge Out of Water.
Then what the hell could the third one be?
Passion of the Christ. Thank you for watching the 3 Movies podcast. We'll see you next time.